Hey everyone! Today I'm gonna show you how to replace the outdoor P3.9 LED with the hard glue. Let's check out the tools we'll be using. First, we have a set of electric soldering irons. We are also bringing a heat gun. So what's the heat gun for? It helps soften the hard glue on the surface. If you're working with soft glue modules, you don't need it. The heat gun nozzle is pretty small, around 5 mm or less. When you hook up the soldering iron, make sure you connect it to the left port. The right one is for the heat gun. Don't mix them up, or you might damage the tools. We also have a temperature indicator. The bottom display shows the soldering iron temp. The top one is for the heat gun. And don't forget the electric screwdriver. It's used for removing the mask on the screen. Since outdoor screens have screws holding the mask in place, just make sure the bit size is smaller than 1.6 mm, otherwise it might not fit properly. We'll also need waterproof glue. It is super important for sealing everything back up once we've finished the repair. You'll also need a glue applicator for this part. Then solder wire and tweezers for soldering. And of course, the new LED for repair and replacement, and a test box to check everything working well once we're done. Step 1. Let's start with a quick fault check. First, power it on. When plugging in the power, make sure the arrow on the connector matches the arrow on LED module. They should point the same way. Same goes for the cabinet if you're using one. Make sure the arrow on the module is facing up, towards the handle side. Then do a basic RGB test, red, green and blue. Alright, looks like we've got some dead pixels. There are 3 dead pixels here. Let's mark them so we can keep track. Step 2. Remove the mask. Before we do that, always turn off the power first. If you're new to repairs, it's best to unplug it. Leaving it on might burn the chip, and we definitely want to avoid that. To remove the mask, we'll use an electric screwdriver. Each mask usually has about 18 screws. While removing them, make sure the screwdriver is perpendicular to the LED surface, or the screws can get stripped easily. Once all the screws are out, then take off the mask. Step 3. Now let's clean the glue off the module. We'll need a heat gun for this. First, turn on the tools. Here's the power button. Just press it. And set it between 250 degrees Celsius and 280 degrees Celsius. Then press this button next to it until you see FO4. That's our airflow setting. We recommend level 4, not too high, or it might damage the LED, so here we go. First, let's heat the LED surface with the heat gun. The goal here is to soften the hard glue, not to melt anything else. Then, gently scrape off the glue using tweezers. Be careful not to scratch the surface of the module, because that could lead to chip burning issues later. So it's best to use tweezers that are slim but not too sharp. Make sure you remove all the glue completely. If any residue is left, it can affect the soldering when we install the new LED. Okay, all done. But when you're working near the edges, be extra careful with the heat gun. You should always blow from the LED surface inside out. Never blow from the outside in. Blowing from the outside in can cause the bottom housing to deform or get damaged. Just be careful around this area when blowing and scraping. If the glue is softened, the bottom housing likely is too. So it's really easy to accidentally damage it during scraping. You might think hard glue is tough to remove, but actually with the right tools, and once it reaches the right temperature, it comes off pretty easily. It's totally doable. Step 4. Now, let's replace the LED. First, turn on the soldering iron. Just press this button here. That's the power switch. and set the temperature to 300 degrees Celsius. Alright, we're ready to begin. This LED hasn't fallen off yet, it's still attached to the bore, so we'll need to remove it first. Before prying it off, melt a bit of solder onto the tip of the iron. This makes it easier to loosen LED up. When you start prying, go slow and gentle. Start with one side, then move to the other. Be careful not to lift or damage the solder pad underneath. Once the LED is off, clean the pad thoroughly. If there's leftover residue, you might end up with solder bridging issues. Or the new LED can't stick properly, so make sure the surface is super clean. That part is crucial. Now, start replacing the LED. If the pad isn't clean, you can use a toothbrush or some PCB cleaner to tidy it up. Then grab your new LED by tweezers and check the orientation. The little notch or that dark line should face the same direction as the others. If you're not sure, just follow the arrow markings on the module. Now, add a bit of solder to the tip of your iron again. Then place the LED in position. Use the flat side of the iron to hold it in place gently. And make sure it's aligned. Then solder the other side. While doing this, use tweezers to press it down lightly. Not too hard, add a bit more solder if needed. And press again to help secure the contact. If you're new to this, you might find it tricky to hold the LED steady at first. Don't worry, just practice a few times and you'll get the hang of it. Step 5. Power on and final check. Let's light it up, plug in the power, and make sure all the arrows point the same way. If using a cabinet, the module's arrow should face the handle side. Now let's check the colors. Red, OK. Green, OK. Blue, OK. White, OK. Let's run a quick scan test. Perfect, everything looks stable. That means the repair is complete. No solder bridges and other problems. Step 6. Recoat waterproof glue. We'll use this tool here, kind of like a glue pen. Or you can also use a syringe, both work well. Just make sure the tip is sharp and fine. The thinner and pointier, the better. It gives you better control. Now, when applying the glue, be extra careful. Don't get any glue on the LED itself, and don't use too much. Too much glue can cause the surface to become bumpy or uneven after it dries. And you definitely don't want that. Once you're done, let it air dry for at least 1 hour. Don't put the mask back on until it's fully dry. If you're unsure if it's dry yet, just give it a gentle poke with tweezers. And see if the surface feels nice and firm. Step 7. Now let's put the mask back on. The mask also has a correct direction. There are 2 invisible arrows inside. They should align with the arrows on the module. Make sure they're facing the same direction. If you can't see the arrows clearly, just follow the mark we made earlier. Line it up properly before pressing it down. Then use an electric screwdriver to secure it. Most electric screwdrivers can adjust their speed and torque, so make sure to set it to the lowest setting. That way, you can efficiently avoid cracking or over-tightening the mask. Also, when you're screwing in, keep the drill perpendicular to the LED surface, or it's easier to strip the screws. Alright, we're all done. Step 8. final test and labeling. Our module is fully repaired now. Let's do a final test. Make sure everything's okay. Be careful unplugging it in. The arrows need to match up. If we really can't get it right, it's okay. The connector is designed to prevent wrong insertion. It can be plugged in if it's upside down. Let's check colors. Red, green, and blue. Looks good. White's fine too. Run a skin test, no problem. That's it. The module is repaired. Now let's mark this module as passed or install it back to the cabinet. Okay, that's the full process for repairing our outdoor P3.9 LED with hard glue.